decent, are we good? Can anyone give us a cheer if you're single? Well, I'm currently single too, and it's not through the lack of trying, it's the fact that women keep running away. And I don't even know why they run. I mean, I know I'm not the best looking bloke in the world. In fact, I look like Bigfoot's G-string. But still, there's no need to run. And so, because they keep on running, I thought I'd try my hand at online dating. And with online dating, you need to set up a profile by answering numerous questions. And one of these questions may be, what do you look for in a partner? Well, a cheap hourly rate to with legal consent would make a nice change. It will also ask you what you're interested in, men or women. Now, I've always found those options a bit limiting. I want to be able to select any woman will do. Even piss pants there. But I wanted to be able to select an option where I can select, I want to be able to fuck a girl's brains out. And my mates said, well, if you just want that, why don't you go to Newcastle? It's simple. Don't want chlamydia. It will even ask you what your intentions are. Well, I intend to have a long-term relationship. Although the women I've met don't seem to want that. Oh, you should hear them scream, please let me go, I have a family to feed. The site will then force you to take a personality test. And these things are surprisingly accurate. Both me and my sister took one. I came out as a class clown, and she came out as a bitch. One of the final questions it will ask you is to describe your ideal date. Now, no man can answer this honestly, because the honest answer is to get drunk and have sex. And let's face it, no one wants to hear that, unless you're from Newcastle. So what I end up putting is that I want to go for a nice candlelit dinner and the walk on the beach on a lovely summer's eve. There's no punchline, it's just there for the gullible women that actually believe it's going to happen. You've then got to give yourself a description. And with this, I thought honestly be the best policy to go down here. Although what I did put does actually sound like a headline in the local paper. Overly friendly, chronic masturbator, loves kids. And the final part of setting up your profile is you've got to upload a photo of yourself. And since you're trying to attract a woman, the photo's got to make yourself look like you're a fun guy who's outgoing and willing to try new things. So I put a photo of me sucking off my dad. It was disgusting, but he did tell me it was his best, so. And now that your profile's set up, you can now scroll through the list of women, or as some men have described it, the wank bank conveyor-belt. And you're scrolling through a list of women and you think to yourself, how can you be single? Oh, that's how. You describe yourself as curvy size 10. Well, if you're a curvy size 10, I'm a slim XXL. Other women remain single simply because they're too high maintenance by wanting to be treated like a princess all the time. Well, let's analyse this for a second. A princess gets wined and dined, a daily makeover, and gets chauffeured everywhere. They get the Diana experience. Well, let's face it, the only thing that I can afford to do on my budget is drive through a tunnel. Too soon for some people. That's years ago! And the rest of the women remain single simply because of how rough they look in their profile pictures. And when I say rough, I mean proper rough. So rough that even Bill Oddie wouldn't go there. Again, I know I'm no prize myself, but at least if you're going to do me, it wouldn't count as bestiality. And after this, it seems like I'm going to turn to you searching through the list. You do come across one and you think, yeah, you seem alright, you seem down to earth, you think they say yes. But now you're left with your first message. I mean, you don't want to seem desperate, but you want to grab her attention. I thought, how about a joke? How do fat couples describe their sex life? As having a whale of a time. No, I didn't get a response to that, so. However, I persisted and I did actually manage to get a date, which was great, but I didn't know the rules. I'd never been on one before. I mean, the only thing I learned from soap was to say she dressed to impress, which meant my birthday suit was out of order. So what I did is I sought out some advice, and the advice I was given was to compliment her appearance, not her tits, pay attention and listen. I didn't quite hear the other one. I was too busy thinking about her tits. And in order to give me some confidence going into the first date, my mate decided to tell me how one of his first dates went. He said that at the time it was snowing, and they decided to go for a walk in it. And he thought it would be really romantic, he pulled her to the ground and they rolled around in it. Eventually him ending up on top and then making out. You know, like in all those Shorte movies. But what actually happened was, because he's really uncoordinated, is he ended up rugby tackling her to the ground, giving her a black eye, and then him getting kneed in the balls. Note to self, don't rugby tackle that date. And so for our date, we had agreed to meet in Pizza Hut. And if I'm being honest, I still wasn't quite too sure what she looked like. Because, you know, people can look a bit different to how they do in photos. So what I thought I'd do is I thought I'd yell out her username at the people that come in. Clitorina? Clitorina? No! My name's Dave! Oh, I'm sorry, just, you look like a cunt, so... But as soon as she come in, I immediately knew who she was. And as I went over to greet her, the thought suddenly, dawned on me. What's the appropriate way to greet someone on the first date? Means you go for a handshake, or a hug, perhaps even a kiss on the cheek. Well, apparently, the appropriate way to greet someone on the first date is the one that you've got mace. And so after we said hello, we sat down at the table and we got talking, and the waitress comes over to take our order and then disappears, and now we're left with that awkward silence. You know, that awkward silence where you can hear a pin drop? And I wasn't quite sure how to break it, so I farted. Now this was bad on two fronts, because A, she had to sit there and deal with the smell, and B, I turtled. And for those of you that don't understand that expression, I shall explain. At level 1, you've got the simple fart, or as my dad likes to say, a love puff. And then at level 2, you've got turtling, where it basically feels like your ass is about to throw up. And at level 3, you've got following through, which is where it comes all the way out. And when you inspect it later, it just looks like your boxes are craving that shit to sleep. So, it's not too bad, you squidge it in. So anyway, I excused myself from the table and waddled over to the toilet to find that all the cubicles were taken. I didn't know what to do. I was getting desperate. The beast was knocking. I had no choice but to use the disabled toilets. And no sooner had my arse touched that toilet seat than someone come knock on that door. You going to be long? I wasn't going to be long. It shot out of me like a volcano erupting. And when I came out, the woman gave me a look of, you're not disabled. That fucking stinks. And for your sakes, I hope you flushed. I did flush, but I left a massive floater as a leaving gift. And when I returned to the table, the pizzas had arrived, and they were massive, and I mean proper massive. So massive that they made me smile. And my date went to me, what are you smiling about? I said, I just made room for this! Apparently she didn't need to know that. But that didn't put her off, and we're sitting there eating our meal, when a woman from the disabled toilets walks over with a face like fucking thunder. You think you're funny what you did in there? Using up all the bogger writing ha ha now you fucked on the cardboard? I wasn't quite sure what else to say. I was going, ew! Did you not wipe your ass? I was not something shitty coming. She stormed off, I turned around, my day was gone. Turns out she could take you fasting at a dinner table and go for a dump for 20 minutes, but using all the bogger was too much for her. I knew she's too high maintenance. I've been Jack Bartlett, you've been a wonderful crowd. Please enjoy the rest of your night.